Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sherman Wealth Wisdom with Brad, as always, and I'm joined with Ashley Perlmutter. Ashley, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We had our first snow day of the season. Did you get outside and hang out at all, or did it turn to rain by the time you got out there?
By the time I got out there, it was just mush and kind of gross. So I stayed inside, but it was still nice. I had some hot chocolate. Was looking outside, so it felt like a snow day, but it was good.
Yeah. I got about 25 minutes in. I had a meeting that I could not move and got about 20 minutes in with the kids, which was great. So everybody be safe out there. So we have on our rundown list today, markets at a new all-time high as we are talking with continued stimulus hopes. We had the Federal Reserve yesterday say again, seems like a broken record from all of our videos, which will be great to look back and see what actually happens. But Federal Reserve saying that they can't print our way out of this and they really need more help from Congress. What did you think about that? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, it's been a lot of back and forth. It's a new headline every day. So hoping that we'll see something soon, but something that's kind of brought attention to me is if there is another stimulus that's passed and maybe you don't need to spend it right away, like you should think about saving. And I wanted to ask Brad a few questions on kind of what you think are the best and most efficient ways to save your money if you do have a little bit of extra here and there.
Yeah, great. So we've been talking a while about the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, which is great for folks who are refinancing debt, whether that's credit card, which hasn't really moved that much, but some potential 0% intro offers if you want to do some balance transfers, but mostly on the consumer debt side in terms of mortgages and potentially student loans. So if you do have debt, look out for a potential lower interest rate to really shore up your personal balance sheet. We had written a blog about how individual balance sheets are actually at the best levels that they've ever been given the interest rate environment. But on the savings side, it hurts savers because even the best high yielding FDIC insured savings are about 0.5%. So as we've said before, take a look at your bank statement. Some of our clients and prospects are still in, we don't want to mention their names out loud, but the big multi-state banks that are giving you like 0.01 to 0.02%. So get your money out of there and set up a link with some of these high yield savings banks. We are agnostic to whom, but we've been sending people to Ally Bank, Capital One 360, Marcus, and American Express. And then there's some aggregator sites such as Max My Interest, which may be able to show you what everybody has. Of course, check out bankrate.com as well for some of that to find the best interest rate on your savings. That would be, as we've talked about before, for true emergency type cash that you didn't want to expose to any risk at all. And then just as a lead in, since it is December 17th and we are recording this, there are a few end of the year things for folks to do. I know it wasn't necessarily affected by stimulus, but remember to fully fund your HSA if you can. Look at your child or grandchild's 529 account for a state tax deduction, depending on where you live. And of course, check. You have one pay period left to fully fund or try and fund as best you can your 401k. So take a look at that. And then around this time of year, we've talked about charitable giving is a big proponent and concept that we believe in. And we have some clients that are doing appreciated stock transfers before the end of the year. It's a really tax efficient way to give. So if you are charitably inclined and above the standard deduction, might want to look at donating appreciated stock, especially given that the market is up this year and most people have some gains. So those would be my tips on cash and what to do with it. And of course, we can't talk about stimulus without talking about local restaurants and businesses. We're both quasi foodies, I guess, and really feel for the restaurants local to our area. Montgomery County, where we live, cut off indoor dining effective 2 nights ago. So go out and support your local small business and local restaurants, especially given that we were talking about the snow and not many folks sitting outside with the heat lamp even in 30-degree weather. So that's what my thoughts there. What else are you seeing or questions on that people are asking or talking to you about?
Yeah, well, we're seeing, which was really cool. I know a few people and some friends, family who've gotten the first COVID vaccine, which is really
Wow.
interesting and exciting after these long months since March. So that's really exciting. We're starting to see that, and it'll be interesting to see who's next and as everyone continues to get it. And then we're seeing people saying, do we think business travel is going to pick back up as the COVID vaccine becomes more distributed, whether work from home is going to continue, if that's a permanent thing, if that's going to go back sooner than people expected. Some of these bigger companies already set dates next June, next July. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. What are your thoughts there, Brad?
Lots to unpack there. We have, the work from home is very interesting. I don't know when, and if that will come back. We talked about last week on the podcast that, big firms are moving out of California and New York and not going back to that traditional office space. So it'd be very interesting to track office rental percentages and percentage of vacancies there. We're fully remote, and it seems like a lot of people realize that they could get a lot done and be productive from home. So we'll see how this all unfolds. We talked about on the podcast as well that 50% of Americans who want to take the vaccine should have it by April, as you mentioned. So this supply concern is somewhat abated. So we'll see how this unfolds and how this changes the dynamic. Really worried, I guess, as I look out on the retail center here that we have, that no one is walking around and no one seems to be spending any money in traditional retail environments. We saw dramatic shifts, obviously, in spending over Black Friday and continued with the cold weather. So all these trends, we'll see if they stay. There are many people who are racing to get back on a cruise or an airplane. I'm not one of them, but we'll see how the COVID virus has changed people's perceptions and what they do. Be interesting to keep that in mind as we move forward and go to 2021.
Agreed.
Great. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about were, of course, stocks, staying invested. Of course, Bitcoin is at the top of everybody's search list, not as crazy as it was Thanksgiving of 17. But if you do want to talk crypto, hit us up at info@shermanwealth.com and we can talk about that as well. Anything else you want to wrap up with before we say goodbye to everyone?
Well, check out our new blogs on the site, as always.
Yeah, new blog on the site about life insurance. I will say that I got my life insurance bill and wanted to make some changes and reached out to our insurance broker that helps us with these things, and we were able to save about $500 a year, which is very considerable, and keep the same premium amount. So
Awesome.
Definitely take a look at that. That must be affected by interest rates. I'm not really sure why life insurance rates are going down, but that was an interesting thought that we wanted to pass on to folks. And the other blog, you want to tee that one up?
Check out our other new blog. It's about figuring out how much tax is withheld from your paycheck, checking your W-4 and matching that all up. Brad always says it's not always good. Some people get excited to get a refund, but in some circumstances, that's not always the best option. So take a look at that blog on our site, www.shermanwealth.com. We just updated the new site with new pictures and new aesthetic and everything. It looks great. as
Yeah, we're
always.
very proud of the site. Thank you. Just one piece on the blog is that, yes, we always say to understand, and we're doing a lot of tax planning, not too late to do tax planning, which is why we posted it a few days left to really impact the planning. But you never want to give the government an interest-free loan. So check your W-4, check your pay stub, see that if you've been over withholding or under withholding, so you don't have a big surprise come tax time. You know, we're talking internally about how strange it was. The numbers were staggering. You know, almost 50% of the folks didn't know what they were even withholding. So it's a great opportunity to educate yourself about what you have been withholding, and then check on the IRS website, or if you have a CPA or tax preparer, make sure you're doing some end of the year tax planning with him or her.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody stay safe. We'll have our last recording of the year next week. I guess it'll have to be Wednesday because next Thursday is Christmas. No, next Thursday is Christmas Eve. So we'll do a special Christmas Eve. Ashley will be in a new remote location, so we'll look forward to seeing her background and tease everybody with where that will be. Have a great week. Stay safe and healthy, and support your local restaurants.
Yeah. Have a great week, everybody.